Welcome back, Harbor Hawks Nation, to another episode of the Parking Lot Preview. We're here on a windy Sunday afternoon. I'm Mike Maynard alongside Matt Coates. Interesting game today, or not interesting, depending on how you look at it. Matt, taking on the Y-D Red Sox in the final game of the regular season tonight at Red Wilson Field.
Yeah, Mike, game 40, you mentioned it. And what's going to make this an interesting matchup is that both teams have clinched the one seed in their respective divisions. If you hear the news, guys, your Hyannis Harbor Hawks are the Western Division regular season champions. We will have home field advantage through the western half of the playoffs. And then on the other side of the coin, Y-D Red Sox have clinched the one seed for the Eastern Division playoffs. So congratulations to the Red Sox and the Red Sox faithful. Congratulations to you, Harbor Hawks fans. First time we've been the one seed since 2015. Mitch Carricker getting it done in his first year, Mike.
Definitely a huge win last night. We'll get into that, but definitely clinching that Western Division. Now you get home field advantage for the rest of the playoffs. That'll be super nice and handy, especially with this Harbor Hawks team that loves to win at home.
And this wind blowing out to center, Mike. I mean, I think if you make contact, it's a homer.
Yeah, this could be interesting. We don't know where the wind is going to be blowing at Red Wilson Field.
No.
It could be blowing in. I don't really have my spatial awareness right now to think about what it's like in Dennis.
Never.
Anyways, though, Hyannis coming into this game 23-14-2. Y-D coming in 24-11-4. Four ties.
It's a lot of ties.
A lot of ties between the two teams, honestly.
Yep.
But as you mentioned, the two top teams in each of their respective divisions. So definitely two good teams. Might not be trying their hardest tonight necessarily, but definitely a huge game last night that we'll get into. But overall, we'll talk about the season series so far, as we always do. So far this season, Matt, 2-1 against these Y-D Red Sox. 2-1,
Mike. And if you remember, we have the July 3rd, July 4th, back-to-back, if you will, with the Y-D Red Sox. It's a tradition in the Cape Cod Baseball League. On July 3rd, we're at Red Wilson Field in a tough game. We lost 4-2, I believe, was the final score. Heading into the ninth inning, we were getting no hit. And then back-to-back homers. Wallace Clark was one of them. Do you remember the second, Mike? This is a blast from the past.
I don't.
Potentially Michael Dottalo?
Potentially Alex Lodis.
Yes, it was Alex Lodis and Wallace Clark. Great job, Mike. So that was an exciting game.
Not that either one of them are here anymore.
No, I know. It was a little trivia.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys got that at home. And then in the next day, because we cannot finalize that, come back on the 3rd, we lost 4-2. Come back home at McKean Park, get a big victory against the Red Sox team. And in that third game of the season series, we were able to capture a victory, putting us in the lead right now. A win tonight gives us a series victory against the Y-D Red Sox.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't really necessarily matter for anything other than bragging rights, I guess. Didn't have a Hartford game this year against the Y-D Red Sox, as we have the past 2 years. So I played all the games here on Cape Cod. We're traveling on the road again tonight. So another situation here where the Harbor Hawks lost the one game off that they played on the road and won the 2 games that they played at home. Got another road game tonight. We'll see if they can show their road prowess and see if they can pull out a win. That would be good. But last night, I talked about it a little bit before, was the biggest game of the season to this point, and the biggest win of the season to this point. Tell me about that win, Matt. Big, huge win against the Western opponent, Wareham, coming into town, and the Harbor Hawks handled business.
They handled business, Mike, and what you mentioned was the biggest game of the year. As we went into that matchup, we knew Katuah had lost the first game of their doubleheader yesterday to the Falmouth Commodores. That doubleheader was created by a game on July 25th getting rained out in the middle of the third inning there, so they had to finish that. Falmouth comes away with the victory, which put Hyannis in a position where if they beat the Gatemen last night, they would win the West. They went out 11-4 victory over the Gatemen. They started off hot, the pitchers pitched well, and they never slowed down offensively. And like you mentioned, Mike, statement victory, West Division regular season champions. So awesome to see this team work so hard. We see them in the batting cages every day at like 2 p.m. for a 6 p.m. game, and their hard work is paying off tenfold so far.
100%. Bunch of moving pieces too. A lot of players in and out. But there's been guys that have stayed here the entire summer. Great to see those guys, get what they deserve. Putting in this hard work, as you mentioned, hitting the cages early on, and just playing these tough games. It's almost every single day you're playing a game here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. It's a lot. So these guys that have been here since the beginning, really showing that they're continuing their success, and really it paid off last night with a big win. But regardless, Y-D last night, played in a game that, again, didn't really matter for their seeding. They already had the 1 seed clinched. But they come away with a tough loss to Brewster, 13-5. Matt, is there anything that we need to talk about with that game, or is it really just kind of a wash?
It's a bit of a wash. It has implications on the Eastern Division playoff seeding, as everyone under YD is still a bit in flux there. We're waiting to see what happens. Brewster is on elimination watch. They could fall. They could be in the 5th seed. I believe as it stands, they're currently in the 5th seed and are East in the 4th. But like I mentioned, there are still moving parts around. So while it didn't matter to the Y-D Red Sox, it certainly mattered to the Brewster Whitecaps. And so Whitecaps come away with a big 13-5 victory as they're fighting for their playoff lives right now. But in terms of our matchup tonight, it's not a game that the Y-D Red Sox are going to be overly upset about. I'm sure they're resting some guys as they get ready for their postseason run. They've had the 1 seed clinched for a few days now, so they've had this time to slowly acclimate and rest a few guys who need it, as they're going to be in a wild card game just like us on Tuesday.
100%. You get these new guys in the lineup, get the new arms out there, get everybody acclimated to the Cape Cod baseball league right before playoffs. It's kind of the way to go. So, did that last night against Brewster. You mentioned Brewster getting that win. I believe they went on a streak for 17 days without a win. Came away with one. I think maybe the game before last night, and then also last night. So, good for them. Excuse me. We're going to get into our pitching matchup now.
Heavens.
Starting pitching matchup for the Harbor Hawks. You would think, you're not going to go with a guy that's had a lot of success on Cape so far, maybe get him some extra experience, but they're going with a guy that has been pretty good so far on Cape. Mm-hmm. Zay Gutierrez getting the start now, Matt. Tell me about that 5'10" left-handed pitch from Angelo State.
Yep, Zay Gutierrez, Angelo State pitcher, D2 powerhouse, who pitched 81 and 2/3 innings at school. So a guy with a lot of innings under his belt over the past 12 months. So far in Cape, he's had 2 starts, 5 and 2/3 innings pitched, a 1.59 ERA, 2 Ks, 4 walks, 4 hits. And like you mentioned, Mike, he's been very successful on Cape. The numbers show that. He's been good in his limited experience. What this tells me is today's Sunday. Wild card game is going to be on Tuesday. So you have Monday, Tuesday. And if we were to advance, that next game would be on Wednesday. So if you start Zay today, which we are.
I said that was a bar. Zay today. Sorry, folks. If you start Zay today, yep.
If you start Zay today, which the Hyannis Harbor Hawks are,
right,
you have the possibility to use him as maybe a starter in Game 3 of the first round, maybe Game 1 of the championship series. Playing him today, while it seems like an interesting move, as you mentioned, he still will be available if we make it past that wild card playoff game. The only thing this is doing is likely eliminating him from being available on Tuesday. But, Mike, someone's going to have to pitch, and so they're putting a guy out there who they know will get outs. Hopefully he can give us 3+ innings so we can save some bullpen arms. But someone needs to throw. They're putting out a guy who's successful. We think will do well against this talented YD team, whoever's starting for them. And then you still have availability for him deeper in the playoffs if you get there. The only thing this tells us is we won't see him on Tuesday in the wild card.
100%. He is a guy with not a lot of Cape experience so far. You mentioned only 2 starts to this point, so still good to get acclimated and get things going and continue to build that confidence, which I'm sure is pretty high for him right now, as you mentioned, below 2 ERA through his first 2 starts. It definitely has been solid, but good for him to get another start under his belt, get things going against a good YD team. For YD, Caleb Williams pitching, not the football player, folks. If you know who I'm talking about, the number 1 overall pick, the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams, the 6'2" right-handed pitcher from Rice, going to be pitching for the Y-D Red Sox tonight. Now, this is interesting, okay, because Caleb Williams, again, not the quarterback, he has not pitched at school, at Rice, meaning he was a freshman this past year, did not pitch, and then on Cape so far has only secured 1 out. He has 1/3 of an inning pitched. So really getting him some experience tonight, some much needed experience, because right now he's only pitched in high school, and now is somehow made his way to the Cape Cod Baseball League. Good for him. I mean, props to him. He's probably got some great stuff if he's coming here off of not pitching in college. So huge for him to get a start under his belt tonight, show off in front of some scouts. I'm sure there won't be a ton of scouts at this game, but still more than he's used to, I'm sure. So Caleb Williams will be an interesting guy to see on the mound tonight. Matt, what can we expect out of a guy with 1 out, so far in the Cape Cod Baseball League?
I don't know, Mike.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go out there and
That's
see
fair.
4:30 first pitch once he goes out there. I can't tell you much about what he's going to do. But like you said, congratulations to him. I'm sure he's pumped to me in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Don't know if he didn't pitch due to injury or just a redshirt year for him at Rice for the Owls. Shout out Jacob Hahn, a Rice Owl himself. Big fan of your work, Jacob. But we're going to have to see. This is just a prime example, Mike, of Game 40 with two teams who are locked into their playoff seed. Y-D is saying, we're going to rest our arms. We have our guys that we want to throw on Tuesday because we need to get a victory, or the season just like that is over. So they're saving their guys. They're trusting this guy enough to be on their roster. So they're going to trust him enough to pitch against us and hopefully get some outs. Maybe some loud outs, maybe some runs across, but get them some depth, get them some innings, and allow them to save their arms, their primary arms, so to speak, for Tuesday and the playoffs beyond that. But yeah, Mike, when you ask me what to expect, you're just going to have to tune into the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network and listen to the radio call, and we'll tell you what it looks like.
100%. He did have success in his senior year of high school. I would hope so, going D1. But a 1.27 ERA, 84 strikeouts in 49 and 2/3 innings pitched.
A lot of Ks.
A lot of
K per
strikeouts.
9 is ridiculous.
A lot of strikeouts. So definitely a guy that's got some stuff. Made his way to Division I baseball. Made his way to the Cape Cod Baseball League. So again, only time will tell. We'll have to see what happens later on.
I'm no mathematician. This is but this has got to be 15 to 17 K per 9 there.
Something like that,
That's
probably.
Pretty remarkable.
That is pretty remarkable.
Shout out Caleb Williams. And shout out Caleb Williams on the Bears.
Shout out both of them. Yeah. When doing research, it was really hard to make sure I got the baseball player and not the quarterback. But anyways, we're going to move on to our player of the game picks. We have no idea what this lineup's going to look like tonight, or do we?
I think we've heard some rumblings.
We've heard rumblings.
Yeah.
So we do actually kind of. I don't.
I have a rumbling.
Okay. I'll let you start it out then. Who you got for player of the game tonight in this interesting game?
Player of the game is a guy who is an everyday player, not playing in his everyday position for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks team. That's going to be Josh Tate, who, per sources, is going to be playing at second base today.
I had a rumbling that he might not be at second base, but...
Well, Josh Tate does have experience playing collegiate baseball at second base. He's played there for Georgia and for Georgia Southern. And so I think it would be kind of cool to see him out there. Hopefully he is. Maybe he isn't. Maybe he's playing. Maybe he's not. I have no idea. But Josh Tate, that's my guy. Go check out my first and third with him on Instagram and TikTok. At Harbor Hawks on Instagram. At official Harbor Hawks on TikTok. Josh Tate, go play like Francisco Lindor, man.
Okay. Love that pick. I'm going to go with a guy. I have no idea what the lineup looks like. We heard rumblings again, but that was just at our morning pickleball session. Not really exactly sure who's playing, but I'm going to go with a guy that I'm just going to guess that he's playing.
Well, we know one guy who's playing.
Do we?
Zay Gutierrez.
Okay, yes, we do know him. I'm not going to go with him, though. I'm going to go with Jackson West because he didn't catch last night.
Yep.
And I just have a hunch, I guess.
Someone's got to catch.
Someone's got to catch, and he's one of the 3 on the roster. So I got about a 33.33 repeating chance that Jackson West plays in this game tonight. Maybe even higher, maybe get DH. Regardless, Jackson West has had a lot of success over the course of the season. I look for him to continue that tonight against Caleb Williams. But regardless, we got to come up with a score prediction. Now, this is going to be an interesting one because we got a pitcher who's not never pitched, but basically. And then we got Zay Gutierrez, who's shown a lot of success. If you want to start us off, Matt, score prediction for tonight's game would be...
Yeah, Mike, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Sorry, you wanted me to say that?
No, you're good.
Very interesting matchup here with the two clinching teams and some wonky lineups, I'm sure, compared to what we're used to. I think we're going to see some arms who don't usually get action, which is going to lead to some offense capitalizing on pitching mistakes. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be 11-9 Hawks.
11-9. Wow.
20 total runs.
Okay. I like to hear that. I like that we are on the winning side of that. I'm going to go similar that I think it's going to be high-scoring, but I'm going to say that it's going to be high-scoring for one team more than the other. I'm going to say the Harbor Hawks are going to score a lot of runs, but Zay Gutierrez is going to continue his success. I'm going to say 9-3 Harbor Hawks tonight at Red Wilson Field. I think 9 runs on the board would be pretty solid to kind of round things out. Obviously, last night you saw 11 in the game that really, really mattered. But good to just continue to have success at the plate and good to continue to not allow a lot of runs. So hopefully, regardless, the Harbor Hawks come out with a win. Again, it doesn't really matter for basically anything besides stats and vibes.
Potentially.
Hopefully everyone's having fun. No injuries tonight, please, everybody. That would be great. Make it out of the season healthy. And coming out with a win would just be the cherry on top.
Yep.
So, boost the record a little bit higher, get a couple extra points.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
I believe if we win tonight, we get to 50 points.
That'd be pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Anyways, folks, we appreciate you for watching as always. Sorry, this one was a interesting episode.
This episode was meant to mimic the game tonight.
Yeah, we got a lot of wind, we got a lot of clouds. I'm still squinting. Somehow it's still sunny, but interesting weather, interesting game. Traveling to Red Wilson Field for the second time this season. Thank you, Matthew. We'll see you next time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your evening. If you can't come to the game at Red Wilson Field, check out the radio broadcast. We got a lot of people rotating tonight on play-by-play. It's going to be quite the broadcast. If you want to find out who's on play-by-play, go check it out. Go tune in. Who knows? Maybe he'll get in. Maybe I'll get in. I know he'll be in. But it'll be an interesting one. Thank you so much for watching as always. We'll see you next time.
Go Hawks.